Today we'll be unlocking the racing truck Azov Sprinter in Phase 7, Tennessee. Stay tuned for more SnowRunner. Hello and welcome back to the channel. I decided to take a break from hard mode today and finally get the Azov 43191 Sprinter. The release of Phase 7 was a bit bumpy to say the least, especially if you're playing on the Xbox One console. There's still a few minor bugs and some that are not so minor, which we will encounter a little later on in this video. To get the Azov Sprinter, you will need to complete all of the contracts in Stage 1. We will kick things off with the supply depot. Today I wanted to use an American truck since we are here in Tennessee, and since I haven't used it that much, I decided on the GMC Brigadier 8000. And it couldn't have been a better choice. It's got the right amount of power for this map. It doesn't take too much for it to go from first gear to high gear, even with the off-road gear package, and I love the sound of that engine. This contract can be completed all in one trip if you use a 4 or 5 slot cargo setup and winch the generator up to the supply depot. You'll probably end up doing the same unless you watch this video before embarking on this mission. Once the generator is dropped off, Phase 1 will complete, and then you'll be asked to supply 4 loads of fuel to the supply depot. So you'll need to drive down to the fuel station and load up on fuel and deliver it all the way back to the supply depot. The good thing is that once you do all that, it will unlock the trailer store at the supply depot. You'll need to park the generator in the designated spot, and the nice thing about this particular factory is that you only need fuel to power the supply depot. This means you can craft all your cargo by just making sure there's enough fuel in the generator. There's also a trailer store right next to the generator that makes getting more fuel super convenient for normal mode players, not so much for us hard mode folks. After completing supply depot, you now have the option to prep for the next 2 contracts or unlock the GOR by-4 if you haven't done so already. To unlock the GOR by-4, just locate the scout vehicle in the same parking lot as the supply depot. So as you're loading up the cargo you need for solar power station or closing the loop, you can winch the GOR along the way and deliver it to your garage. The task to unlock the GOR by-4 is conveniently located next to the garage. Moving on, next I chose to do solar power station because it looked way more challenging than closing the loop, and I wanted to get it out of the way. You'll need to pluck 4 loads of solar panels out of the river, which still has an endless supply at the time of making this video, which I think is one of the minor bugs I was referring to earlier. You'll also need 2 loads of metal beams. I highly advise going to the spot on the river which has the single solar panel first, and then working your way around the other way, as the trail in that direction is a lot more friendly, especially if you're crazy enough to throw all the cargo into a single trailer like I did. Make it all the way to the solar power station and be treated to a cool cutscene of the location being built. Burning Mill is going green, thanks to all your help. Next we have closing the loop. Another trip back to the supply depot to pick up 3 medium planks, and then you'll need to deliver those to the construction crew. I used a 5-slot trailer and balanced the final bit of cargo right on top of the rest. There's some good sections on this map. You can just throw it into high gear and this truck will do the rest. Just be careful not to tip it over. The construction crew is located on the racetrack near the garage, which we are working on getting functional. You would think they'd be a lot more welcoming. Next, we have Bad Take, which requires delivery of 3 vehicles back to, you guessed it, the supply depot. You'll want to start with the Voron truck. If you've already repaired the bridge, that's great. You don't have to go around the long way. For creative purposes, I needed to restart this mission, and boy did that cause a lot of issues. It likes to respawn the Voron truck with one of its front tires stuck in the nearby rocks. Not even the heavy-duty crane can help this situation. After about 10 attempts to restart, I finally got it free of the rock. From there you can bring it to the racetrack where you can load the CK1500 pickup. I decided to make the trip using the evacuator add-on, which allows me to carry the pickup truck, but unfortunately all the other vehicles in this contract are too heavy to load. It's best to drop off the CK1500 and the Voron at the supply depot before you go attempt recovery of the Tega truck, which has a really cool looking skin, I might add. The windy track that you need to take when picking up and delivering the Tega is a lot of fun to drive and sets up the next part of the contract, which is really starting to get more enjoyable. Once the Tega is dropped off along with the other vehicles, that will complete this contract, but for some reason the trucks don't disappear like they should, which may be another bug since you can't use them for anything but decoration. As stated before, now we are really getting to the best parts of this Stage 1 contract. Next we have Qualification Race, which takes you through a very nice track which includes driving up and down a section of a river. You should have no issue qualifying unless you have been drinking too much whiskey or moonshine. And finally, you get to the grand finale of this Stage 1 contract, which will allow you to run a lap on the ring. You should have no trouble getting gold in this event. Using the GMC Brigadier 8000, I was able to get gold while driving with an off-road gearbox. Just remember to throw it into high gear on the sharper turns and through the mud. Ideally, you would want to use a high-range gearbox, so I was really surprised when I was able to get gold with an off-road gearbox. Now that the Stage 1 contract is complete, you will unlock the task called Racing Truck Delivery, found here on the map. This is the task that unlocks the Azov 43191 Sprinter. It's a full-size truck, so I was not able to load it up on the evacuator like I had hoped. Once you get it out of its rocky prison, you'll find it in really good condition with plenty of fuel. It's an easy tow back to your garage where it becomes part of your fleet. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll be back soon with more SnowRunner videos.